There are nights that are not meant to mark the calendar. They are meant to mark people. Beltane and Walpurgis have always been that. Moments when human beings stopped being mere observers and became participants. It was never about belief. It was about sensing that something in the world was moving, and that this movement demanded a response. Fire was the first response, but it wasn't symbolic fire. It was operative fire. The ancients lit 2 bonfires and walked between them. They called it Beltane, the passage through fire, and those who crossed believed they were leaving behind what no longer served them. Today we would call this nigredo, the moment when the soul recognizes what is worn out, what is stuck, what must die, so that something new can be born. The ashes of the fire were kept, mixed with water, rubbed on the skin, placed on doors, blown across the fields. It wasn't superstition, it was coagula, fixing into the world what the fire had purified. And while the fire worked on the earth, the night worked on the interior. Walpurgis was never just a night of spirits. It was a night of exposure. People stayed awake until dawn because they believed that for a few hours the world revealed what it normally hides. And it wasn't only the outer world, it was the inner one as well. The vigil was a spiritual practice, a form of solve, dissolving defenses, dissolving certainties, dissolving the mask worn during the day. Those who stayed awake felt old thoughts returning, forgotten memories rising, fears taking shape, hidden desires becoming clear. It was uncomfortable, but necessary, because the alchemical soul does not transform through comfort. It transforms through truth. And this is why Perchta appears on this night, not as a folkloric figure, but as a psychic function. She represents the moment when we are confronted with what we avoid. The moment when the night returns to us what we hide from ourselves. And when this happens, the wild hunt is not just a procession in the sky. It is the inner movement of what was trapped. It is the release of internal forces finally finding a path. The ancients said that if you heard the hunt, you should remain still, not because it would harm you, but because any sudden movement could break the process. Today we would say, when your shadow moves, don't run, observe. And this is where Beltane and Walpurgis meet, in the point where fire transforms the body and night transforms the soul. Alchemy called this coniunctio, the union of opposites, the marriage between what grows and what dissolves, between what is born and what dies, between who we are and who we can become. And those who passed through this night knew they would not return the same. Not because something magical happened outside, but because something true happened inside. Ancient Europe did not speak of enlightenment. It spoke of remembrance. Remembering what we are when we let go of what we are not. Remembering the strength that appears when fear is burned. Remembering the clarity that emerges when the night is faced. Remembering that the soul also has seasons, and that this night is the beginning of the season of transformation. The fire of Beltane was also a laboratory, not in the modern sense, but in the alchemical one. The flame represented the rubedo, the red phase, the moment of life asserting itself, growing, expanding, and the night of Walpurgis represented the nigredo, the black phase, the moment of dissolution, introspection, confrontation. Between these two forces emerged the albedo, the inner clarity that appears when fire and night balance each other. The ancients knew this clarity did not come from outside. It came from within, and so they performed small, discreet rituals, almost invisible, that today we would call deep psychological practices. Some wrote fears on pieces of wood and threw them into the fire. Others walked alone through the forest, not to get lost, but to find themselves. Others gathered specific herbs, vervain, mugwort, yarrow, because they believed these plants opened perception, and they were not wrong. Modern science knows many of these plants have real effects on the nervous system, but for them, the effect was spiritual. They helped reveal what is normally unseen, and this is where coniunctio enters. Not as a mythological figure, but as a vital principle. He represents the force that grows when we let go of what binds us. He is the impulse of wildlife, the energy that does not ask permission, the vitality that returns when fear is burned. And when this force awakens, the alchemical soul enters the phase of separatio, distinguishing what is ours from what is not, separating desire from conditioning, separating truth from habit. It is a demanding process, but liberating. And when separatio ends, coniunctio emerges, the inner union. The moment when fire and night stop being opposites and become allies. The moment when the soul understands it does not need to choose between light and shadow, because both are part of the process. Ancient Europe knew this.